What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day, morning, noon, night, whatever it is for you guys. Hope you're having the best day possible. So, today, guys, we're going to be getting back into some of my man, Bricky. Now, I know you want me to get in some gameplay, and we've already done Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. We've done a little bit. We've done at least one chapter. But, while I was scrolling through the Steam network, I saw that they had Blood and Teef up there. Now, I'm not a big shooter game kind of guy, but Bricky's gonna do a marvelous review for us. So we just gonna check out what he has to say. So let's get going.
Hello everyone. I don't have a normal sponsor today. Instead, I wanted to talk about my own stuff. I have a merch store and I don't advertise it a ton, even though I always have it in my little like slap title card and down there in the description, but it's getting pretty expansive and I think it might be a good time to talk about it. So many of you might know I used to be called Bricky Orchid 8. I am a beautiful orchid, an old Microsoft generated Xbox 360 live username. And I changed it to just Bricky because everyone just called me Bricky. And the Orchid 8 part I actually turned into my merch store, and I just recently got a major office for it.
So
more employees.
It's
really expanding, kind of crazy, and we're offering a ton more stuff since the last time I ever advertised it. Like, there's a ton of designs going over a myriad of things. There's a bunch of original designs, like the crest tee or hoodie that says "Thick thighs save lives" in Latin. Very proud of that one. You may have seen the "Life is hard, but that's okay" shirt I wear sometimes. And there's some that are.
Guys, I would totally love to set up a merch store for you. Get some hoodies that say, "Be easy on them." What y'all think? Or maybe even Time Out with Trey. We'll do TOWT, the Tout family, or the Tout family. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Let's keep going.
Legally distinct and based on things I really enjoy, like Outer Wilds, one of the best games ever made. I have a really awesome shirt that I like for that one. But not only that, we're actually going really hard into dice and prints. I sell actual physical dice that have the word POG on the 6 and also the twerking Among Us crewmate on the 6 as well. And I sell prints, and not like poster paper prints, because poster paper prints aren't good enough quality. We're talking like full-on 280 semi-gloss. It's the paper that does like the whoa when you shake it. That like it's actual thick-ass good photo paper prints. And we have just a brand new one that came out literally this month, which is a little pink bear mascot bee sleeping in this gorgeous thing of fall flowers. It's November, like come on, like this is the time to have it. And for those of you who are Warhammer people, I have a ton of merch from Adeptus Ridiculous, the podcast, link in the description as well. There's a whole lot now for the store, and I would really like it if you gave it a look. It's orchid8.com. Check out the description, check out whatever you need to do. It's really been a blast doing it. I wear my own stuff a lot, which might sound narcissistic, but it's really goddamn comfortable. Like, why would I ever buy shirts and hoodies that I wouldn't want to wear myself? I don't know. It seems weird to me. So anyway, if you've already bought something from the store, a recommendation from you down in the comments would be really appreciated for those who haven't. And yeah, give it a look-see. Okay, all right. I'm done with that now. Let's go into the orcs. Hello everybody, my name is Bricky, currently leading the Brick Get Crumpa Wah across the solar system. Shootas, Blood and Teef is objectively the best name for an orc video game on the market right now. It also won my heart with this hilarious trailer and demo that came out earlier this year. It's a Warhammer game, and since I am John Warhammer, I might as well give it a shot, you know? A warning, there are spoilers in this video, but it's nothing that you should really concern yourself with. But if you want to go in super blind, I get it, but don't worry too much. I'm going to be going through the game very similar to my Uncharted video, so you have been warned. Loading up the game, I got the chance to set up my orc in a variety of colors based on orc clans and appearances based on orc units. The Storm Boys, Weird Boys, Goths, Evil Sons, Bad Moons, so on and so forth. Then we get to the opening explaining the story of the game, and well, it sure is the story about orcs.
The humans call this place Lutius. Lutius. Stupid name. Stupid human. The humans been drilling for the gold juice here for ages. Pumping it out, sticking it in their battle wagons to make them go through. Now we want it for our wagons. Make them go through instead.
As you can see, this game knows what it's trying to be. That's your overall story, but it's not the real story. Because yeah, orcs might want to crump and get resources, but to make it a real orc story, it's gotta be personal.
That hair squeaky snazzy. painted gargans. I reckon he'd look more snazzy on my head. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm the boss, so I get the snazziest friends. You, I'm having this.
So your Gargaz, an orc boy, and your damn boss Gut Rippa just stole your hair squig. Now, if you're not familiar with Warhammer, orcs don't have hair. They have animals called squigs that serve a variety of functions, and one of those functions is hair. Listen, dude, there is a canon story in Warhammer about an orc that goes back in time to kill himself so that he can have 2 copies of his favorite gun. Okay, like, don't worry about it. So the main objective of the story is to get back to the boss and get your hair back. I'm also a little disappointed I didn't have a Keep sponsorship for this video. The point is that when the orcs are on screen, this is a proper orc game. The cutscenes are a highlight and they are consistently excellent. So the gameplay of Shootas, Blood, and Teef is a lot like your Metal Slug and Castle Crasher style game. You have a variety of weapons, all of them with ammo capacities, but with overall like unlimited ammo. You start with a simple arsenal of orc boy weapons. We're talking a shooter, a slugger, and a big old melee weapon. But over time, you'll gather 5 different ranged weapons, including, and you better spell this correctly, the rocket launcher, the boomstick, the burner, and more. This also is accompanied by your dedicated wah button, which represents the green beneath your health bar, of course. When activated, you'll become invulnerable and fire whatever weapons you are holding at an extremely rapid speed. Other than that, you have a dash, a double jump, a crouch, and that's about it. Gameplay is simple because combat is simple because orcs are simple. Don't overcomplicate this with all those Hume mechanics. Use an orc. You fight like one. Starting off, you tend to fight either like other orcs, naturally, or the Imperium of man, mainly guardsmen. The guardsmen are also played like an orc would see them, basically as a bunch of doofus nerds. Throughout the gameplay, you will also gather Teef. Lots and lots of Teef. Teef are, of course, currency for orcs. I don't know why I say of course, as if this is common knowledge. Yeah, Teef are teeth, and teeth is currency. Bricky. You can use this teeth to purchase new weapons from the mech boy at his shop located at every single checkpoint. Each gun slot has 3 new weapons you can buy. This can be a looted human plasma pistol, giant laser beams, looted bolters, a giant saw as a gun, and more. And don't forget, if you shoot the plasma pistol too much, it overheats and damages you. Nobody can forget the exploding plasma pistol. So you make your way through the Imperium, killing everything here and killing everything there, dealing with the occasional kill 'em all section, and find your way to, of course, the most important part of any game, the orc band. Hit it! Since in orc law, now that you've killed the boss, you are now the boss, and you get to lead your own army of orcs to get back at Gut Rekka for once again stealing your hair squig. This leads you to fighting more of the Imperium and increasing the enemy variety in a great way. You have company commanders, commissars, rattling snipers, Ogren, a fucking Lehman Russ Punisher tank, and you blast your way through all of them. A note, I really like the background memes here. Purge the unclean. For washing your hands. Sisters in arms. There's a lot of good little Easter eggs scattered about. But Easter eggs be gone. It's time for our first major boss. And the realization that even though this is an orc game, I should not expect canon to even come close to this title.
Who is it? Wow.
So you,
Baneblade.
a single orc boy, are about to take on a Baneblade. 11 barrels of hell, which they don't fire at the same time because, you know, video game. But that's when I realized, yeah, okay, this is gonna be shenanigans. It's a pretty neat fight. The Baneblade uses a lot of its weapons and they all have different effects. Even more so when you blow off its turret and it tries to ram you with a very classic, get me closer, I want to hit them with my sword. There is one thing that has me annoyed though, and it isn't the biggest deal, but it really bugs me in this game. Right when you finish a level or kill a boss fight, there is no ending delay. Like, just to let the music fade out or give some time to relax. Instead, the screen goes instant to loading screen and then instant out of loading screen, either to cutscene or gameplay again. it's really jarring and it kills the pacing massively. I know it's a random thing, but
Kind of sounds like Contra back in the day. You just keep dang going. Keep on trucking, my boys.
let me just show you a completely unedited example. Like, you see what I mean, right? The pacing is so off, and it does this all the time. It needs a little bit of a cooldown, or at least not double up the transitions, going from gameplay to loading screen, then gameplay or cutscene. It's just kind of jarring. It's a nitpick. It's like a major nitpick, but it's noticeable. So you move on to the next area, and the environment has most certainly changed a little bit, as have the enemies. Looks like Lutius has already had a major problem on their hands to start with. The entire next area is mostly Genestealer cults and all of the crazy paraphernalia that comes with them. The enemy variety is enhanced too. There are your classic neophytes and then just infected guardsmen, but you'll find hybrids that have their third arm throwing demo charges, or you'll have a Sanctus that's this really fast stabby type, and of course there's got to be an aberrant in there somewhere. Bosses include your classic Genestealer, you know, the titular, a Biophagus, which was a pretty fun one. But of course, as we all know with Genestealer cults, there is always a patriarch, and it is responded to exactly how you would expect.
You trespass in the tabernacle of the all-seeing Emperor. Prepare to die.
The Patriarch fight is probably the best fight in the game. It's still very simple, as all the gameplay here is, but I enjoy it a lot for a multitude of reasons. Firstly, I like the background design. You can see the effigies hanging from the ceiling and all the candles with the big old statue in the back. It's very neat. Secondly, the Patriarch moves quite quickly and fires these little homing psychic missiles at you. So you're playing both run away from the big stabby monster and also run away from the homing attacks at once. And lastly, the Patriarch will scurry away and let its conclave deal with you for a bit, which I think breaks up the action and makes it actually really fun. Now, it's not my favorite boss in the game, but it's one that I think should be looked at more if this game ever receives updates or DLC. You run away, you fight 2 Genestealers, and
Next level.
well,
Don't do it. He did it.
the next bit has you fighting a combination of the cult and the Imperium. More enemies are added, like the Bullgrin with their gauntlets and big old slab shields. And hey, you even get to fight a full-on Sentinel, which is shocking to me since this is later in the game. It's a later boss fight, and you've already taken on a motherfucking Baneblade. But that's okay, because right after this, you're dealing with something scarier than a Sentinel by far. The Space Marines are here. White Scars in particular. Good choice, I say. A fast orc game might as well have the fast Marines to go along with it. Honestly, the Space Marines, though, they're not that tough. They're tougher than some of the singular enemies in the game. You're just so incredibly
What was it? Was it Wolfbane? Were you the one that told me about the Space Marine, or these Space Marines going fast? And once they started going fast, they never stopped going. They just killed everybody. And apparently that's in the Emperor's text-to-speech thing that is gonna blow my head or something. Let's keep going.
busted as a singular orc. They aren't that frightening. Now, if they populated the game and there were a ton of Space Marines, okay, they'd be a little bit of a threat, but they only throw a couple of them at you, and they aren't really that much of a challenge, which is too bad, because, like, they're Space Marines. You did kill a Baneblade, though. Though they do find a middle ground, because you're now fighting Tempestus Scions that actually are quite a threat in numbers. They're tankier, hit harder, and can sometimes carry plasma guns. And turns out, I was wrong. The Khan is back, and you get to take down a White Scars chaplain and his squad, which I have to say, just looking at the chaplain walking around with his little Crozius all stubby-like and trying to whack you with it, it's pretty adorable. It's very silly. I like it a lot. Combat in the war room is strictly prohibited. Commissar Strangelove.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Turns out, just like the tabletop, the Invicta Tactical War Suit dies to a swift breeze. That's too bad. But honestly, this is all filler. This is all prep work. This is all just a gathering of strength, like a gathering of power, a gathering of will for the true fight, the real climax of this game. It's time for the #1 reason to even buy this game.
I'm waiting for it.
Attention, Hork! You face Lord Hork Canorum, son of High King Valeric Canorum, High Prince of House Canorum, Master of the Blade of Gaia, Keeper of the Gates of Loralo, Wielder of the Caloric Flame, Bringer of Hope, Herald of the Holy Order of the Adamantine Lance, the Paladin of Koto, Slayer of the Lion of Essa, the Triumphant, the Light of Stars, the Eradicator.
You stupid. Me orc.
You are? I am Lord Hork Canorum, son of High... Whatever.
Lord Hork
I don't
Canorum, son of High King of Valeric Canorum, High Prince, etc., is one of the most batshit ideas I've thought of for an orc game, or I've seen for an orc game. Someone thought of for this orc game. Having a single orc take down a Knight Valiant, which by the way, good choice, that's my favorite knight, whose flamethrower, the conflagration cannon, can melt a Lehman Rust tank to sludge, is so absolutely ridiculous that it's only offset by that absolutely bopping soundtrack. Rip that shit. Lord Hork is not the best fight in the game, but it is the most hype. There are two main issues with it. The first is that even though it took me far too long than I like to admit to figure this part out, all you gotta do is hide behind the boxes when he attacks you. That is really the entire fight, more or less. Block the melta-gun, dodge the flamer, dodge the harpoon. The missiles are really the only thing you need to think about, because they home in on you. The second main issue is, come on, why didn't you put the entire subtitle on his health bar? Like, literally, if you put it over the health bar and you even obscured the health bar with just lines of text, I wouldn't have minded it at all. It sucks that it's just Lord Hork. It should absolutely be the whole thing. Stick to your guns, maintain the meme. And hey, I'm just saying, when you kill him, he like explodes a little bit before they go jarringly into loading screen again, but he could still be in there. If you're gonna make DLC, bring him back, and then like do the whole thing. Come on. This is my favorite boss fight though, just because it's so ridiculous and it's still fun, even if the actual gameplay loop is a bit generic overall. Still, it's just not often you get to watch an orc bash down a Knight Valiant of all things. But I give them props for a lore accurate Knight pilot. Knights are the most proper, pristine heralds of the goodwill of mankind, and they will shout their deeds to the it's that entire monologue. Cheesy, sure. Lore accurate, a little bit. If we're being truly honest, the knight would have just killed him. But however, maybe it's not that strange of a thought process. I mean, have you ever read Brutal Cunning, in which two orcs, a grot, and a squig killed a warlord titan? You know, one of those things they show in the Horus Heresy trailer. That's a good book, I'd recommend. The final section of this game is, of course, naturally, in an orc game, against other orcs. You make your way on Gutrekka's ship and begin just blasting it up. You fight all manner of orcs, Killicans, and even defy the laws of physics, as the spaceship is open to the vacuum of space, which you, of course, use to float, because orcs. The final boss fight against Gutrekka, it's a bit of a disappointment. All you do is jump up and you shoot him in the face on top of his giant stompa, in which his stompa opens up and then you shoot its stomach, and you rinse and repeat that like 3 times. It's probably the weakest fight in the game, which sucks because it's the final boss of the game. I expected him to like jump out and fight me on foot or something, but no, it's just this. You defeat him though, you take your hair squig back, then you lead your own wah in his stead, and that's the game. You spend your teeth on various new hats in the store and all that, which, you know, if I learned anything from TF2, hats are the true end game. And it might surprise you that it's already over, but yeah, that's the entire campaign. I beat it on normal mode in 1 sitting, and it took me only around 2 to 3 hours. This normally wouldn't be a problem for me because it actually like a pretty good 2 to 3 hours, and minus the weird loading screens, it was paced really well. But the game is $20. There also is really nothing else to do after beating the campaign. You can play with friends, I guess, again, but you're still just playing it again. Hello, this is future Bricky. After playing the game and going through the whole thing, I decided to also throw a little bit of a gameplay thing together for a stream with Adibus Ridiculous. Actually compiled the video for it as well. You can check that out in the description. But let's just say the co-op experience was not as good as the single player one. It was horribly buggy. Some things were funny, like the explosive friendly fire you can have. I think maybe it's not necessarily friendly fire.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
But we encountered a ludicrously large amount of bugs, DK, Diamantes.
I jumped.
My co-host crashed about 4 or 5 times in the 2.5 hours it took us to play it. I shoved Lord Hork off the goddamn map, among many other weird things that happened. So another good disclaimer to add that. Yeah, can be a bit rough in the multiplayer part of it, which is unfortunate because I imagine that would be one of the better ways to play it if that wasn't the case. Also check out Dev's Ridiculous. We do Warhammer podcast stuff. Well, goodbye. It's just extremely content light overall. It's a fun game for sure, but it's done so incredibly fast that you wonder if it really felt like it was worth the price tag for a shorter runtime than Avengers Endgame. And depending on the theater you go to, costing more than the ticket for that movie. It's hard to justify its price tag, no matter how enjoyable those 2 to 3 hours were. When I go to my Steam page and see fucking Hollow Knight for $15, and I mean, sure, maybe it's unfair to compare it to Hollow Knight, an incredibly good game, but it is still a price per game thing. It's up to you. Sure, I think it's better suited as a clean $10. If it had another 1 to 2 hours of content, maybe, but right now I don't think I can recommend it at its price point, which is disappointing because it's still a lot of fun. The voice acting is hilarious and accurate to the lore. The mood is fun, the gameplay is fun, and the soundtrack is genuinely great. So it just doesn't reach a $20 price tag for 2 to 3 hours of gameplay, which is too bad because 40K games are often pretty shit. This one isn't shit. I guess it wouldn't be a Warhammer title if they didn't overcharge you. Thanks, James Workshop.
Now I have to go give Codex Zotes an army-wide 2+ invulnerable save.
Shootas, Blood, and Teef. It's a really fun time. I liked it a lot. $20 though. Not sure about that. If you're doing financially sound, you just don't care, you want to play an orc game, have at it. I've spent a hell of a lot more money on tiny little plastic figures. So truly, I'm not quite sure how much of a say I get in this, but I'm letting you know. Thank you all so much for watching this video, everybody. Please do give my merch store a check. Check out some of the prints, posters, shirts, hoodies, everything in between. There's tons there that I would love to have you buy. Give me money. So I have multiple orc-based questions, which is good. Which is your favorite orc unit on the tabletop? That would either be the Death Dread, or perhaps I like Bird Up Boys a lot. No, Commandos. It has to be Commandos. It has to be Commando. I love Commandos. They're so fun. If you had to join any of the orc clans, which would you pick? Blood Axes. I like Blood Axes. They're really good. What is the best orc book that you'd recommend? At the moment, I'd probably say Brutal Cunning. Yeah, Brutal Cunning's probably the best orc book I'd go with. The Gaskell book is pretty good too, but I think Brutal Cunning hits it out just a bit more. I would recommend that one. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry this didn't come out in Orktober, but you know, I tried. And we're gonna have lots of videos in November and December because there's a lot of games coming out. So you'll see me again hopefully pretty soon. Bye-bye.
Come on.
All right, guys. Well, that was Bricky. Cool. So, what did you guys think? I kind of agree with it there. I saw it. I saw the trailer for it, and I just felt that for $20, it was kind of overpriced for what you were getting. I mean, like I said, it really reminded me of like old gameplay. Like, I don't want to say it reminds me of Contra, but like it reminds me of games I used to play on my Game Boy. I couldn't spend $20 on that, but I don't know. Do y'all want to see some gameplay on that? I mean, I guess I could buy it if y'all want to see that, but I mean, if you want to see it, we gonna make it happen. I don't know. But guys, I just want to say I am so glad I am feeling a little bit better. God, that sickness had me down for like what is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, this Wednesday. God, it had me down for a while. Could not speak. I was just coughing crud up. Crud. Thank you for the well wishes. But yeah, guys, tell me what y'all think. Like I said, I don't think it was worth the price tag. But like Bricky, having a merch store, that kind of sounds pretty interesting. Would y'all be interested in like merch? I don't know. Y'all let me know, guys. But with that being said, that's gonna be the end of the video for today. Peace, love, happiness to you. Before you head out that door, hit that like and subscribe button. Keep blowing us past 1,000, 10,000 to the moon and back. See you there, guys. Y'all have a great night, and always be easy. Love y'all, guys.